Hey everyone, and welcome to a special episode of Gamehuntersrus. In this episode, we are going to pay tribute to our local store, Zellers, that is a Canada chain department store.
The last store in the area just closed in the last few weeks.
Yeah, so we just want to share a bit of our experiences and experience of others that have had while shopping at this retail outlet.
Well, it's not that hard to figure out why Zellers went out of business when you really think about it.
True.
I mean, the first problem is their pricing. I mean, you probably remember those old commercials from the 90s where they said, "We're the lowest price as the law."
I do remember those commercials.
Starting Wednesday, April 1st, and for the rest of the week, nobody beats prices like the Super Sale at Zellers. Only one store has lowest price specials like this 26-inch, 18-speed Venture bike, ladies or men's, save $35. And this 68-liter Rubbermaid tote is just $8.46. And you get 500 bonus Club Z points with every Zellers credit card purchase of $20 or more.
But if that's their law, they broke it all the time.
All the time. They should have arrested themselves.
Yeah. A very specific example I can think of. There's this game called Dead or Alive Extreme 2.
Yep.
I'm not going to expand on the game, just it's pretty bad. It didn't sell very well. Pretty much everywhere else, within a year, it was no more than $15 or no more than $10 used.
Yeah.
I found it in a bargain bin at Walmart, less than a year after it came out, for exactly $9.00.
Makes sense.
And yet at Zellers, it was still $69.
How does that make sense?
It was $69 up until, 3 years after the game came out? And then they lowered it down to $40. Meanwhile, no one else sold it for more than $10. Almost everyone had run out of it to begin with.
Yeah.
And even now, during their clearance sale, it was still $30.
Yeah, their clearance sale sucked.
Yeah, that's another problem with Zellers. They don't know how to pull off a sale.
Not at all.
Whenever they had something on sale, oftentimes it would be stuffed in the back room, it would be empty on the shelf, and none of the workers would ever bother to get it out. There are a lot of nightmare stories about this even.
One of the best things about Zellers and their sales is when they would have a sale, they would often jack up the price and then have a sale on that. So it would just become regular price again.
Or at the most $2 off.
With a sale sticker on it.
Even when the final clearance came in and everything was legitimately 50% off what would normally be their lower price, games and movies were still more expensive than they were anywhere else.
Zellers Club Z computer keeps track of billions of points and remembers every single one.
It's never going to remember my points. Computer has millions of people to keep track of. I'm just one small, insignificant human being. Cog in the wheel, really.
Zellers computer prints out points for each purchase and automatically totals your Club Z points to date.
It'll never remember. You're looking at a man with 93,000 Club Z points.
Zellers. Shopping anywhere else is pointless.
The other thing about Zellers is that the store cleanliness was abysmal.
Oh boy!
Yeah, it was horrible. The washrooms were never maintained, and they were always messy.
Oh, almost always.
Almost always, especially our local store. There was no organization to the store. Everything would just be kind of put here and there, and
yeah, you could find movies in with the toys or toys on the wrong shelf.
yeah, and it's like they never cleaned or organized anything.
Products all over the floor.
Yeah, and you know how customers will take something and then walk across to the other side of the store and then realize they don't want it anymore and they'll just throw it on whatever shelf they see.
No, none of the workers bother to put it in the right place.
They just leave it there. Screw it. It's fine. Someone will buy it eventually. You know, someone always wants Teletubbies in the toiletries aisle. That's where they
sure.
That's where they belong, by the way. But still, I guess in that way it makes sense.
No, not just that, but they had all these open boxes with products already in them.
Yeah.
They never lowered the price.
Never lowered the price. Always the same price as a brand new in-box item.
And a lot of their price tags were out of date. How you'd have a 3-year-old price tag that says it's cheaper than anything else, and they wouldn't acknowledge it.
Yeah. So
It'd still charge you for what, $50 more than the price tag says it's supposed to be.
yeah, I guess their store ethic was not where it should be.
Well, it's not entirely the workers' fault. You see, the workers themselves weren't very well treated either.
Yeah.
My brother actually worked at Zellers
Yes,
for
he
about
did.
6 months or so.
Yep.
At first, it was okay. It was around Christmas. He had a lot of hours. But as soon as the New Year came along, he got nothing. He got, 4 hours a week at the most.
Yeah.
Everyone at the store got about 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
You'd have only 1 or 2 people on the floor, and they'd have to take care of everything in the entire store.
So good luck trying to get some help if you needed it.
Yeah, and yet, despite this, they were still hiring people. You don't do that!
Doesn't make sense. How do they treat the customers, Ben? These employees that actually did work.
Well, it depends on where you go. Some stores were fairly nice to people, but I've read a lot of nightmare stories online about employees insulting the customers, not really wanting to do any service. I mean, to an extent, it's kind of understandable if the employees themselves are mistreated, but
Yeah.
it's just this endless cycle.
Why
where
treat the
it just
customer
keeps getting
bad?
worse and worse. One thing that's funny about my brother working there, though, there was one day he was working and someone just happened to walk right out with a display TV. Nobody stopped him.
Just let them walk out. And it was a big screen TV.
It was a display model too. How could you miss it? Came
Yeah.
out, pulled the store out of this. He just walked in, took the TV, walked out, put it right in the van, and drove off.
Yep. I remember that story. It was pretty funny. It made me laugh.
Attention, attention, family. Cheese off by high time prices.
Holy felines, Batman!
I smell like cats, Robin. Paws off the customers, Catwoman. Listen, folks, only at Zellers are you protected by...
The law of Toyland. Nobody beats Zellers prices on toys. Nobody.
Well said, Robin. You're protected at Zellers because the lowest price is the law.
Of course, that's not to say everything about Zellers was bad.
They had great chips! Apparently the chips were so good that when the store was closing, or starting to close down, the chips were a hot sale item.
And it gave birth to a new crime spree, too.
A new crime spree in Canada. We have really bad crime in Canada, in case you didn't know. So bad that people were stealing chips. Not from Zellers, but if you had bought chips, people would steal them from you. So, to prove that, check out this clip.
In this quiet Saanich neighborhood, people like their chips.
All kinds. We like those the lime flavored ones, potato chips, taco chips, cheesies.
All good, but nothing compared to the chips that led police to the 2900 block of Foul Bay Road this morning.
These are very specific and hard to obtain barbecue chips.
You can find them at Zellers, but only for a limited time. In October, Zellers is closing its doors for good, meaning its in-house potato chip brand Truly could become harder to find, perhaps making it somewhat of a hot commodity.
I haven't tried these for myself, but my understanding is that particular brand of barbecue is quite tasty.
And for 2 university students, too tasty to pass up.
The women were walking home from a night of drinking when something caught their eye, an open garage just like this one. And what did they see inside? Zellers brand barbecue potato chips.
It appears that the effervescent chip package in the open garage just appeared too yummy to pass up for 2 highly intoxicated young ladies.
So they took the chips and started walking, but they didn't get far. The barbecue bandits were busted by the homeowner.
Apparently the chips have been accessed, and there have been some illicit chip tastings. These are first-time chip offenders.
The barbecue chips sell at Zellers for $1 a bag, but the women opted for a 5-finger discount. Now they're facing charges of break and enter, a price tag they likely didn't see coming.
So, goodbye, Zellers.
We won't miss you. Welcome to Canada, Target!